Hello, my name is Thomas Kassman, and today we're going to be talking about processing and some basic things that you can do with processing, and then eventually, hopefully, we can get something like this running, which is a neat bouncing ball with colors and whatnot. So let's get right into it. So processing is a piece of software designed to help you create cool sketches and graphics on your computer through programming. So you can go to processing.org and download processing. It's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. And when you download it, you can open up the editor, which is called the PDE. You'll probably see something like this, it's just a blank window. And this is where you'll put all your code, which will create the graphics. So let's jump right in. There are a couple of functions that are really important to know when you're starting processing. And in this context, a function is really just something that does something. So you're going to write these functions, and they're basically just procedures, so sequences of steps that the computer is going to follow. So the two really important functions are called setup and draw, and these will be written like this. So setup is kind of like it sounds. Is just a function that sort of sets things up and configures basic settings of the canvas and whatnot. So it creates a canvas of a given size. You can color the background and do a bunch of stuff, change a bunch of settings about the graphics. The important thing about setup is that it only runs one time. So these are like initial configuration stuff that's just going to run once. With draw, this is more so things that are going to be drawn every time a frame is drawn. So when we're thinking about movies and videos, you have to remember that movies are really just a series of pictures being played really rapidly. So each frame is going to be drawn, and for things that are different, like they're going to be drawn differently in each frame, and that's what draw will handle. So for setup, like I said, you can create a given size of canvas. We can do that with just the size function. So let's create a canvas of 700 pixels by 700 pixels. And if you run that by hitting the play button in the top left corner, you'll see that a canvas pops up, or a window, and it's 700 pixels by 700 pixels. So we can also change the background color in setup, which is really cool. So colors, when we're thinking about colors on computers, they're usually represented with three numbers. One that represents the red value, the green value, and the blue value. So with those three combinations of numbers, you can describe any color that exists, really, about 16 million of them. So each value is an integer, usually ranges from 0 to 255. So for example, if we wanted a completely red canvas, we could say 255, and then 0 green and 0 blue. And we'll just see how that looks. So it's completely red. And that's the most red it can be. But I don't think it looks that good. So I'm going to make it a gray. Yeah, so that's set up basically. And if we wanted to draw something in draw, this could be something that moves maybe because it's changing every frame, right? So we're going to want to be doing a bouncing ball eventually, right? So it would be good to know how to draw a circle or draw an ellipse. And that's exactly what it's called in processing. You can just say ellipse. And what processing wants to know is where is the ellipse going to be, and also how wide and how tall is the ellipse going to be. So we can tell it the x and y coordinates. So I can just say x 100, y 200 randomly. And then how wide is it going to be? I'll just say 50. And how tall is it going to be? Just 50 is also fine. And we'll see what that looks like. So now we've got an ellipse on our canvas. And one thing to note about the x and y coordinate system in processing is it's a little bit different from what you might be used to. So the x direction, positive x moves that way, as you probably know, and that's probably pretty comfortable. But in processing, the positive y is actually pointing down instead of up. So negative y is up and positive y is down, which is why when I said 100, 200, it went over 100 and down 200 to draw this ball. So once you've got the hang of that, we can start drawing things that actually move around. One thing that's great in processing are the variables mouseX and mouseY. And every time draw runs, mouseX and mouseY give you the position of the user's mouse. So if we wanted to use that, we could draw instead, we could draw the ellipse instead of at 100, 200, we could draw it at mouseX and mouseY. So let's see what that does. It just looks like that. And then let's draw it. So now when we move the mouse around, you see that the ellipse is actually following the mouse. And it's leaving a trail since we're not redrawing any background. If we wanted to, we could draw the background every time draw is run, like this. So I could say background 100 again. And then what we'll see is that there's no trail left, because now it's redrawing the background, which is covering up all the previous frames. So this is just a basic sort of intro on how to set up processing and how to get some sort of interactive graphics going on. In the next video, we're going to look at how to create a bouncing ball, which will look something like this, hopefully, when we're done with that. And this can be a really cool intro project. There's a lot of expansions that can go off that, so It'll be a good time.